All right, y'all, my bad. Had to shut my dog up for a second. But, right. Chloe was wondering where Nira is. But knowing that she has a closer relationship with Labrina, they probably felt like she got to show her loyalty. You know, she got to ride for her friend. So the group is definitely fractured, okay? You have one group of ladies, which is Chloe, Ro, Tori. Then you got Nira and Brina and Elena in the middle. Damn. Already? We already dealing with so much mess in the beginning of the second season. What happened? So then, Chloe ends up telling the girls that when her and Jordan first started dating, it was all good. But then she recently got receipts that he might have cheated on her early on in their relationship. They were like, what are you talking about? You mean he just cheated? No, it was early on in our relationship. Like, it's not a problem, but I just got receipts that he might have did. Break it down to like I'm a toddler. Like, what are you talking about? DMs were sent to her to prove that Jordan was cheating on her very early on in their relationship. And apparently somebody had the gate code to his house. And listening to that kind of information, I said, who the hell will tell you that they had the gate code to get into Jordan's house? Someone wanted to let you know that I had him before you. Like, that's some games. I don't like that type of game. And Ro was just like, girl, what we doing here? Like, what you gonna do about it? Because if you are not going to figure it out, how you're going to move forward with him, and if not, then girl, wrap it up, all right? Because there's more men out there. Like, this is definitely not worth your time, all right? And I appreciate Ro for being honest and real with Chloe. And she just wants him to be accountable. You know what I'm saying? And she's asking questions. He's beating around the bush. She even said she told his mama. She talks to his mama every day. She told everybody in his family in a group chat. I was like, oh my God, Chloe, why you gotta be so petty? That's some petty shit there, Chloe. I ain't gonna hold you, right? But listen, if you're asking him for an understanding and clarity about what took place, and he's telling you the opposite, then girl, you should not focus on figuring this out. You should go ahead and say, okay, that's good. I'm done. Because she says she's still teaching Jordan on how to love her, how to show communication, how to listen. Because he's never been in a real relationship before. I mean, he's only 28. Chimmy. He graduated college. I have to teach him how I want him to show up for me. Rose said, I'm going to be there for my friend, but I'm going to have to tell her the truth. I mean, he's 28, Chloe. And he's never been in a real relationship before. You've already been through a lot in your life. Like, your son is older than him. Like, girl, what we doing here? Why are you wasting your time teaching this young boy how to be a man? Hey, Michelle, you can't raise a man. Like, what are you doing? So all she wants to do is just figure it out, and whether or not she's gonna say I'm with him or not with him. Because I don't know. Chloe is saying it all happened early on, so she's not really mad about it. But I feel like all she wants is honesty. Like, just tell me straight. You know what it is? That's all I want. We'll get through that later. Now we got Nira and Labrina. They're at her house having tea, and Nira is now doing full-time content creation. She is still trying to make time for her kids and her husband based off what took place last season. And Labrina, she's also in a new space in her life. She's working now with her husband. They have expanded her escape spot. They're now about to open up a Pilates/juice bar, and they just purchased some land to create a safe haven for horses. Okay, Brina. I feel you on that. We gotta save the horses. I love that. I really do. So they end up talking about the therapy session and how they haven't spoken to any of the other ladies since the session. Labrina feels like she was the target, that everyone was coming after her. And she was wondering, how did we get here? Because she said that everything was good, we were forming friendships, but when the cameras went down, that's when everyone else's true colors started to show. And it became very weird. We couldn't come together for events. So a therapy session was an idea. Let's come together, let's hash everything out. But she's painting the picture that she was the problem, and that everybody came at her, and that everybody only wanted her to be accountable for what went down. Because she's talking about the on my level comment, and that Tori and Chloe couldn't let it go. When you first said it, they didn't understand it. So when they brought it up to you at the therapy session, they wanted clarification. So when she repeated the same comment, she don't know why my level comment affected them. Well, I don't understand why you wouldn't understand why it wouldn't affect them, Labrina. Because where did you come up with your head to even make that comment to begin with? If you said it one time and they didn't understand it, and it probably pondered on them later as to why you could have meant it. So when they had a moment to actually ask you, why would you feel defensive about explaining your reasonings? So she feels like Chloe and Tori had an agenda of coming after her. Nira is repeating the same thing, like they came in to attack her and they wouldn't give her a chance to explain herself. I don't know, Nira. I feel like you're not recognizing the way that Labrina could have affected their feelings. I don't think you're painting the picture in the neutral way of understanding why Tori and Chloe could feel away by the comment that she made. Because why did you say that? What did you mean by that? Because even if you meant level of peace, why are you trying to put where you are in peace above what other people are at with peace? Everyone has their own journey of gaining some type of peace in their own way. Why would you try to compare it as if I'm at a better level than you are? Like it shouldn't even have that. It shouldn't even be on that type of time, type of conversation, type of thought. So then she's saying how they are playing victims and they're projecting, and if they're not going to come to terms with how I said my on my level comment and not understand my reasoning, then you're the problem and that ain't me. I feel like, did you try to throw it in their faces as to what they're not doing to reach the level you are at? I don't know. I feel like you might have made it sound like that you're here and they're there. They're beneath you, you are above them. That's what it sounds like to me, Labrina. But I don't know if they're trying to play victims, because I don't see them playing victims. But if they are recognizing what you said hurt their feelings, why can't you just admit it and say, I'm sorry, that's not what I meant? Why are you trying to defend it? I don't know. But seeing the way that Nira is not trying to look at all parts, all sides of the situation, and it's only looking at Labrina's side, I don't know, Nira. You might want to be mindful of how you want to only place all your cards in Labrina's basket. You should view other people's perspective and opinions on how something could have bothered them. You should. But moving on from there, we got Tori, Chloe, and Ro. They're catching up with Elena. And yes, we know that Elena and Chloe did have a little hump last season, but they moved on. And I've been following Elena on her Instagram. She has been glowing. She's been looking beautiful. And she's been entering in this new space of getting all that toxicity out of her. And, you know, she's in a new space in her life where she's elevating and she hasn't had enough time to hang out with her girls as much. So she just wants to know, how is everybody? Well, they don't know because they're not in a good place with everybody. She was like, what? Yeah. It's crazy to find out that not everyone's in a good place. So Chloe is starting off with what Elena has been doing. You know, she's been doing amazing. She's traveled to Paris to do a wedding. You know, she has her makeup classes she teaches. And it used to be an every quarter thing. Now it's an every month thing. And she also is trying to be there as much as she can for her children. And I love that. I love that Chloe is talking about how beautiful Elena is looking, how she is glowing. She's in a new space in her life. Like, I'm uplifting you and how happy I am that you are evolving in a better space. So while she is trying to get in a better space, she's looking how she's trying to focus on how to figure out her marriage. We know she's been with Josh since her junior year of high school, all throughout college. They've been married for 15 years, been her only man all her life. So I had to make changes on how I should be treated in my marriage. So what was the reason that you and him are not in a good place right now? So we know we finally got the reason why she and Josh were not in a good place was because he made bad investments. We all know that he cheated on Elena before they got married, right? And how they opened up the season with them sleeping in separate bedrooms. So she said that they were trying therapy. Therapy did not work out. She tried to stick it out, but there were moments where she just got so tired. Like, I couldn't get out of bed. And she's wanting to showcase to her children that I want my children to grow up and see two people in love and two people focus on fighting for their relationship and how people should be treated in a marriage. So after all the fighting, she did ask Josh to leave. They are going through the process, I guess, of filing for a divorce. But Elena is still expecting for a turnaround. You know, it sounds to me, Elena, you're trying to threaten to leave and are hoping for Josh to say, I'm fighting for my relationship. I'm fighting for my family. And as far as like, okay, so how do you focus on your life right now? Are you going to date? She said, I'm not going to do anything like that until the ink is dry. So are you really in the process of filing for a divorce? And Elena is playing with me right now, okay? She said the wife in me still wants to try. But if the man ain't trying, why are you putting all this effort to figure it out on your own? You chose you. So what you mean you want to still be the wife and still want him to figure it out if he's not doing his part? So she was like, I desire to keep my black family together. And it's just like, but we were just talking about how you're happy. We want you to be happy. Why are you trying to stick around in a marriage that you are not happy in? And listen, Elena, I understand your reasonings. I really do. You want to follow that traditional sense that a marriage can withstand the test of time. You can go through the worst and still make it out. I get all of that. And you want to showcase your children that figuring out what your marriage can mean to you can be something that they can learn from. But if you are the only one fighting for it, then there's no point in fixing it. There's no point. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can recognize why Elena wants to fight for her relationship. But if you just telling us that you're happy where you're at, why would you want to go back to not being happy? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, they understand where Elena's coming from. She still needs to heal. They know she needs to take time to heal. And Ro, she's in the same realm. You know what I'm saying? She ain't had sex since March of last year. I've been where you at. So how are you guys navigating the children? She said, we have to have conversations. We have to talk about it. And she never thought that she would be a single mother, but it's all about her children. And I did like this. I did like that she was open to receiving the advice from the ladies, because she still has a life to live. She still has a lot to look forward to. And Ro, she's trying to also recognize her co-parenting process with the father of her daughter. Like, I'm 13 years in and I'm still trying to figure it out. Like, I want to know how you're figuring it out. So this was a really good scene. I literally like this scene a lot, because it was a really open conversation of where Elena is in her marriage and how she is receiving advice from the other ladies who wants her to be happy. So then we get a scene with Tori and Jordan. She received a phone call from him at 6 o'clock in the morning and wanted to meet up with her. The reason why he wanted to meet up with Tori was because he wants to propose to Chloe. And she was like, huh? What you mean propose to Chloe? How do we get here? He said that she makes him a better man. His family is invested. Her kids are invested. They have created a great relationship with one another. She backs him up with everything that he does. Okay. Now, I understand that you like to keep your relationship private. You don't really like to say a lot, but as far as you give me this little piece of a puzzle, not the whole puzzle, but it's just like, where do you think you're at in your relationship, Jordan? If Chloe lets us know you might have cheated early on in your relationship and you and her have not had a conversation about moving forward, why would you think that proposing to her would be a good idea? So maybe you should focus on getting through that hump and then think about proposing. But do you really think you're ready to be a husband? So she's trying to help him set up a strategy as to how long do you plan to get this done? Where do you see yourself finally popping the question? He said the next 60 days. Now, she wants to help him, but she also wants to make sure he is thinking through this clearly. I don't want you to come in almost ready. I want you to come in ready. You know what I'm saying? I don't want you to second guess anything. I want you to figure out everything that you figure out before you want to propose. And she wants Chloe to be happy, because she don't want Chloe to come in and say no when he wants her to say yes. Because this is interesting to me. I don't know. What some guys do this when they know that there is a bad space in their relationship. They feel like if I propose to her, then that means that we can move on. You can't move on without addressing what the problem is. I have no idea why sometimes men think I should just put a ring on her finger and now shut her up. Shut me up for what? That you might have done something that hurt me. You might have done something that I don't think I can trust you moving forward. That's a Band-Aid. And a Band-Aid don't stick long, okay? We have to really figure it out how to work through this wound so we can heal properly. Chloe, please don't. You know what? I don't. Tori, you were a good friend by going there, and I'm happy you did not reveal what you heard, because I don't think you wanted to overstep your boundaries by addressing Jordan about what he should be telling Chloe. So you just want to be a listening ear. I commend that. I do. But we're going to move on. Jordan, you can go away from me. So now we have Brina and her husband, Will. They are setting up a charcuterie board because Josh is coming by. They haven't seen him in a while. Will has carried his own relationship with Josh, so he just wants to see how he's doing. Because regarding the separation and divorce with Elena, I also want to know if Elena has checked in on Elena and wonder how she's been doing. Because if she's putting all this sympathy on checking in on Josh, I have an issue. Because I was already feeling some type of way that Will was coming by. No, I mean Josh was coming by anyway. And I'm like, did y'all do this for Elena last season? So they're giving Josh all the sympathies, how he looks good, he's glowing, he's lifting weights, he got a new glow on him, whatever. So Brina's son, Papa, moved back in. We know last season she was struggling without her son, was navigating, spending time with both her and his father. But watching Josh say that he's in the space where his children has to now travel to 2 different households. Brina says, I can tell that he walked in, there was a weight that was upsetting him. And I can't imagine that you create a life with someone and all of a sudden your world is flipped upside down. Don't you think that Elena should deserve that kind of understanding, Brina? Why are you giving that on him? He's the one that turned her world upside down. So then he's talking about what he's been through. He was told to leave the house. He said he was surprised but not surprised. Because Brina is caping for Josh by saying that he know that he was at fault for what he did, but he should still receive grace and sympathy because none of us are perfect. Yeah, Brina, I get that, but at the same point in time, you know the story of how he hurt Elena before they got married. You know what he did that affected their marriage. I don't give a damn how he feels. I really don't. I don't care that you're trying to give him a woo space. It's all fuck him. Literally, it's fuck him. Because he's the reason why he is in this space in his relationship. Not Elena. So he said what he did was out of character. But he did not receive an understanding as to why he was trying to fix it. So yes, we heard he took their investments. You know, he took their money and lost it all. Okay? He knew it was a mistake, but he is upset with how he got treated for making the mistake. So why would he do that? So then she had to say, I'm not trying to get information. I'm just trying to see for myself, because she's looking at the conversations that she's had with Elena and they're not matching with what Josh is saying right now. So with him losing the money, it happened around 2020 when COVID happened. And everything was falling behind. Elena's beauty salon was a part of it. He did everything he could to make sure it was working out well. So he said it was a true partnership. I did everything I could to make sure that business was up and running. So the business was ran smoothly with him by 75%. And Brina was like, so that 25% wasn't on you? Oh, that's a lie. That's a huge chunk. What the fuck are you talking about, Brina? I swear to God, your whole demeanor and your whole feedback on listening to Josh's story gave very male-centered, very male-identified. Because I don't know why you're just giving him, aw, what? Are you for real? It's like, what the fuck? Anyway, so when he noticed that everything was piling up, all the rent was due for all the areas, so he wanted to solve the issue. He overestimated his emotional intelligence on how to handle the situation, because when he tried to fix it, he made another mistake. He tried to fix it, made another mistake. It was just so much, and it was way too late. He had already lost a huge tons of money, and he didn't tell Elena until it was too late. And they wanted to ask him, could there have been a time where you could have told her before it got to that point? He said, I never could really explain myself because my feelings were never valid. So it didn't matter if I said anything before or after that. I don't think I would have understood with what I did. Bullshit. You did not tell your wife that you were interested in day trading in order to help her with the bills, in order to get things back in order. You never told her. So you can't feel a way if she wasn't understanding you as to why you did the things that you did when you did not tell her until it was too late. You lost all their money. The hell? Like he's expressing that the way that she came at him and how she felt, and it was the assumption that he was intended by her success, And he said, no, it was not to appease my ego. That was all in her head. The reason why I lost all the money was because I was trying to be more than what I am. So here go Brina saying, well, there were no outlets for him. There was nobody he could talk to about this. Fuck that, Brina. He could have talked to his wife about it. No matter how she was going to approach him, no matter how she was going to say something, he should have trusted the relationship by letting her know what was going on. And also, let me also say this. When it came down to him putting all of his efforts on making sure that her business ran smoothly, the one thing that he didn't do was put a brush to her face. Well, that's the money maker. Doing the work of a makeup artist, making up looks, teaching classes, that's the hard work. So then, he makes it seem as if that she painted the picture of him being anti-therapy. How he didn't want to fix it, and he didn't want to do this, he didn't want to do that. So when it comes down to you saying, I want to fix it, and I say, I want this too, but to say, I'm done, I've done my part, I can't do this no more, you're tearing me down in the process. So to actually make him leave the house. He thought that space was what she needed, but when he tried to make an effort, she wasn't responding. He tried to call and check in, do his part. He called her on their anniversary, like, trying to see how she feels, and maybe he can try to like add in a date night or two. But she took the kids to the movies on their anniversary, and he's watching her hang out at the club, how she removed him from everything. So it's looking like she is preparing to start a life without him. So Sabrina, I keep saying Sabrina, Brina, says that she hasn't spoken to Elena for some time because she found out through the grapevine that they were going through a separation, and hearing that the way that Josh got kicked out is enlightening with the way that she presented how they were in this space and the way that they got to this space. So he's talking about how there were things that he did to mess up his marriage, but he's not the only one that's done dirt in the relationship. So Elena asked, are you saying that she cheated on you too? He ended up with answering no, but that's when it was to be continued. And this entire scene made me uncomfortable. It made me feel icky because listening to Brina give so much space and grace to Josh when he was the one who fucked up in this relationship. He holds more responsibility on how he started his marriage off of lies and cheating and untrustworthiness. It's just pissing me off to no extent, Brina. I really cannot believe you that you really give this man so much light and grace to explain how he did his part in the relationship, but to say, well, he didn't have nowhere else to go. He didn't have no one to talk to. Oh, you did all of that? That's a lie. It's like, but Brina, no. Now I know when the trailer happened and Elena told you that why didn't you come to me and ask me instead of opening up the door and talking to him about private things, very sensitive things. Now I know why she's going to address you, because that was wrong. Because why haven't you talked to your friend about her relationship? She came to you for advice. You and her both bonded over the fact that both of y'all dealt with mess in y'all's relationship. Brina, we know what you went through to get to Will. We know what you had to go through to finally get this man you've been waiting for. So how come you're not giving the same grace and understanding to Elena as to where she's at in her relationship? Why are you doing all that to Josh? What the fuck? Sorry, not sorry. It's giving male identified, very male-centered. You want to give grace and understanding to the man because the man deserves grace. Even though he's a man, he should still get grace. No. Not if this man has squandered all of their money. Not that this man cheated on her before they got married. No, he don't deserve no fucking grace. The fuck? I'm sorry. Like, that really bothered me. And I don't know why you were even there, Brina. I wish that you would have just said hey to Josh and walked out to the next room and gave Will and Josh the conversation. Let them have their conversation. Let the men talk. Why are you there? You know what? I cannot wait for the next episode. I want to know, how is Elena going to address Brina? We only saw the table. I don't know how she got the information. I don't know how she's going to approach Brina about this. I just cannot wait, because this was not cool, Brina, whatsoever. But y'all, that's it. Pretty good first episode of the new season. I ain't gonna hold y'all, but that's all I have. Please stay tuned for the next video. I'll see you guys later. Bye.